word which
there is a new word.
there's a new word.
What
This
word?
new word is more popular amongst the younger generation at the moment.
Okay.
Perhaps Shashwat would know about this.
What is it?
This word is called delulu.
That means delusion.
Exactly.
Yeah,
This
delulu.
word has been doing
It's
the
a Gen
rounds.
Z word you're saying.
Yeah.
It's a Gen Z word,
Delulu.
delulu, which means, and there's, I think, if I'm not wrong, and maybe our friends over there watching can help us think, there is something called solulu as well.
Solution.
Solulu is the solution. So,
Okay.
right now, South Africa had all the solulus,
And
but Australia, it appears, were in
Delulu. Exactly. I mean, such a feeble performance from Australia.
Very bad.
And I mean, look at it. No one scored a 50. No one scored a 50 in the Australian batting, and even the catching. Did we watch?
They
Okay,
dropped 7 catches.
six
Seven,
I last
seven.
counted. Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong. Was this Australia versus South Africa, or was it Pakistan versus South Africa?
See, let's not pan Pakistan when
Yeah.
it's not needed. Because, by the way, no, let's not discredit.
Are
They've
you
been-
serious?
They've been one of the better fielding
Yeah,
sides,
this time.
not in the outfield, but when it comes to catching.
Yeah.
In terms of, yes, Siddharth, there is evidence. They've taken the
I
second.
totally agree with this.
What the host broadcaster showed, the coefficient.
Yes.
What were the numbers? What
I
was
think
the equation?
You're looking at percentages, they had the second best percentage. Simple. That could have meant taking 3 or 4 catches. They may not have had 12 catches altogether. Whatever, going by percentages, and that's a good indicator.
Yeah.
Let's not discredit.
See,
But the original question remains.
Yeah.
Was this the Australia that we used to watch as Australia?
Or we
The
were
only-
expecting would come out to
Yeah, the
play.
only batsman who has top scored with them was not in the original squad. Manas Labuschagne, who was not picked at the first place, top scored for them.
Yep.
And they were reeling at around 65 for 6 when Stark and Cummins built a small partnership. So, is this the same team, the 5-time world champions?
See, it is the heaviest defeat for them.
In World Cup,
World Cups ever.
134 runs.
Yes.
Heaviest ever defeat. Now that's
Just to add on to that, the person who wasn't in their main squad was the highest run scorer. The main spinner they picked isn't in good colour since the 2 matches. Glenn Maxwell has come as a blessing for them, who has done well with the ball here.
Yep.
Even today, 39 runs just he has given.
And consider this fact that Australia, 13 out of 16 ODIs they have lost to South Africa now. 7 out of 8 last ODIs that you see, they have lost. 7 out of 8. Can you believe it? Now they have lost 2 World Cup matches, first 2, for the first time since 1992.
And perhaps it will be the first time in the history of World Cup cricket that after 2 games you will find Australia ninth on the table.
Yes. And this is the Australia team that has won 5 World Cups.
Exactly.
And history, if you look at it, has never been kind to teams that have lost their first 2 games. 92, their campaign never recovered. They finished 5th. Despite pulling out everything, they finished 5th. 99 was an exception to the norm because they won against Scotland, lost heavily to New Zealand and narrowly to Pakistan. After that, what happened? It needed something spectacular. Steve Waugh and his team had to win everything.
Yeah.
This Australian team does not have that aggressive instinct to win every single time, and it's only going to get tougher for them.
Going by that, are you saying they're now down in the dumps? Their campaign can be written off?
They are on the edge. They are virtually on the edge now.
But nothing to take away from South Africa, but the wicket wasn't that bad that they got all out for just 177. In fact, their batting was pretty bad, and like in the last, Jansen was also attacking the tail enders with bouncers. So it clearly shows that the wicket wasn't that bad, and it's just clear display of bad batting by the Australians.
I'll tell you, look at what happened with Warner and Marsh. What happened to them? Look at the strike rates, 46 and 48. What were they doing? They're trying to hit the ball too hard.
Yeah.
There was swing, there was like springboard bounce, which Australia should be totally adjustable to.
Yeah.
Totally. What happened? Warner played a bad shot, undone by Ngidi's swing. He was swinging it in. Warner was just not getting timing. Look at Marsh, horrible shot that he played. And Steve Smith, now we'll come to that dismissal. I mean, it was a leg cutter that Kagiso Rabada bowled. It was angling towards leg.
Yeah.
first glance you thought, okay, maybe
Drifting.
It was drifting down the leg side. But we had a Saeed Ajmal moment of 2011.
Yeah.
It looked
was
as if.
baffling. It was baffling.
That was.
And Steve Smith himself was shocked.
He could move. He didn't move rather.
And the ball of the day was to Josh Inglis. I mean, okay, you drop a catch of Temba Bavuma, okay. You expect some luck with the bat? No. Peach of a leg cutter from Kagiso Rabada,
Yes.
top of off stump. Can't do anything about it. But the guy who had the most horrible of horrible days, Marcus Stoinis,
Yeah.
drops a catch of Janssen, dolly.
That was sitter. Yeah, that was a sitter.
Sitter.
Even
It was a sitter.
okay, CK PlayStation we have played, we could have also taken it. It was that easy. That's the thing. And on top of that, he misfielded.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys who dropped 5 catches today. Stark dropped one, Inglis dropped one, Sean Abbott, the substitute, drops 1 catch.
You know, a few weeks back when Australia was visiting India and they were playing, so we were talking about, that they've lost first 2 games, but this is not the same Australia you'll see a couple of weeks ahead in the World Cup. But now, continuing that trend only, Australia have lost both of their games.
Yeah.
What do you think is seriously wrong with this Australian team?
I think they are listless at this point in time, because look at the fielding display. This Australian team, can you believe, dropped 5 catches? Past teams would absolutely not even drop 5 catches over a year.
You would in fact turn a half chance into a catch.
Now their fielding has become listless. Already their bowling composition was totally destroyed. Spin bowling combination, let me add.
Yeah.
Agar's injury.
Yeah.
That has now proven your bowling composition's gone awry. And no plan B. Because what did they base their thing on? Okay, let's pray that.
Zampa
Adam
good.
Zampa does well.
He does.
What
But
happened?
they were also basing their campaign. Their campaign was on a prayer.
Yes. Yeah.
They knew this wasn't their best 11. They knew that they didn't have a Travis Head
Head.
for half the campaign. They knew that Ashton Agar was not going to be fit to be part of this World Cup campaign. So they were anyway basing many things on prayer, the Australians.
Yeah.
It's rare that you see such miscalculation from them, and this has gone horribly wrong. Not just the squad calculation, I would say the pitch assessment as well.
Yeah.
I will say
Yes.
one more. I will add one more thing to that. It's not a mismanagement anymore. It's a blunder. Now it's a blunder. I mean, you based on the fact, okay, Travis Head will be fit to the second half. But boss, by that time, your campaign would be over.
Look at this. Now in Chennai they played 3 proper seamers, had just the 1 specialist spinner. In Zampa, India played with 3 spinners. There was Kuldeep, there was Ashwin, there was Jadeja. Today there were spinners. How many spinners did South Africa have?
2.
These are out and out spinners.
Yeah.
They had a third
They had
option
a
as well.
Markram.
So they also, again, both the occasions, Pat Cummins wins the toss, but goes for the decision that he shouldn't have made.
Yeah. Like in Chennai, he should have bowled. Here, he should have batted. But again, he said that, okay, I don't know how the pitch will be. It's a new pitch.
Today you can cut him some slack. Some slack maybe you can cut, because see, there is no foolproof. Nobody has been able to since the inception of the game. Nobody has been able to come up with a foolproof system of reading the pitch. There is no science behind it.
Yep.
There is no tech behind it. It's all about experience. It's all about, let's say, some sort of prediction as well that you make basis on how things appear. You don't know what's lying underneath the surface.
Yeah.
So even if that goes wrong on a new pitch in Ikana, you'll give it to the Aussies. But what was that batting? What was that batting?
That they looks like, they don't look like a 5-time champion side playing the ODI World Cup. And second, I think they are underprepared.
But they were playing enough cricket. They played a 3-match series against India. They played 5-match series against South Africa.
Again, there are 2 kryptonites in this Australia team that has emerged in this last 6-7 years. Quality seam bowling, which you saw of Kagiso Rabada, and again spin, left arm, and if you look at it, wrist spin. Look at Glenn Maxwell, time and time again, goes for an aggressive shot, can't hold back against the spin. What happens? Spinner gets him. Kuldeep, same. Skid, zip. He tries to go for a slog. What happened? Bowled in Chennai. Today, Cotton bowled
Maharaj.
left
See, today
arm.
couldn't read the ball.
Yeah.
Couldn't read the ball today. The other day, I think most batsmen would have
Misjudgment
gone
again.
But most batsmen could have gone for that shot, or would have gone for that shot that Maxwell went the other day against Kuldeep. I think you got to give it to the bowler because the ball skidded on. Had that ball not skid on, it was a short ball. Any batter would be tempted to go back, rock onto the back foot and then whack it. Just that it skid instead of turning in.
And another factor that went against Australia, hardly any dropped catches from the South Africans.
Yeah.
So when you
Because
take
poor
a chance,
Catches win matches,
Even
that's true.
Keshav Maharaj crammed the batsmen, wasn't giving them room, didn't let them open their arms, and also the wicket did grip. There was spin, the off cutters did help the wicket, the bowlers, but it wasn't that bad that you pile up for just 177.
yeah, I mean everything. Mitchell Marsh, bad shot. David Warner, bad shot. Steve Smith, bad decision. Labuschagne, I mean the game was lost.
Yeah.
What could he do?
He was fighting alone.
Inglis, peach of a delivery. Maxwell, bad shot. Stoinis, again very unlucky. We'll come to that a bit later. Stark, again the game was lost. Cummins' game was lost. Hazelwood, what could he
He was
do?
just playing for the net run rate.
The top order, 2 matches in a row, failed.
And
Colossal
they
failure.
failed to cross that 200 run mark even. Now Australia 177 run loss
And 199
Yeah.
at Chennai.
at Chennai.
Now again, what is the trend? It was seen even in the Australia-South Africa series also. Same, 316 they had to chase in Johannesburg. Oh, flyer 120 for 1 in 15 overs. What happened? 167 all out.
But still, I feel it's too soon to rule out Australia yet. Just 2 games into the tournament.
No one's ruling him
Just
out.
on the basis
it's
like
not about ruling them out, it's about-
not like they're on the edge. But one thing that's going to go against them is that these are fresh wickets. The ball isn't doing that much. The ball isn't turning right now that much. But as the tournament progresses, the wicket is going to help the spinners more. So that is
But they
something.
don't have good spinners.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That
They're
is something
relying-
either they have to get in Sangha or they need to do something
But
about the Nathan Lyon
Captain Pat
situation.
Cummins yesterday
They
only
need to
said
do something.
will not rotate
Make
bowlers.
changes.
Yeah.
Me, Hazelwood and Stark will play all the matches until and unless it's absolutely necessary to rotate.
true.
Bowlers will not. So you have
It is
lost 2
necessary
matches, 7 games left, and you are on the edge of getting out of the tournament.
Yeah.
So if you lose a couple of more or maybe 2-3 matches more, then your campaign is done.
Done. See, you've
You
got
have to
2
play big
games
now.
now.
After this, you still need to play New Zealand. You got to
England.
play England.
You'll play England.
Pakistan.
You're playing Pakistan
And then
5 days
this-
later
yeah.
because you're playing Sri Lanka at the same venue. You're then going to Bangalore where you're going to take on Pakistan.
But I feel the best of Australia comes out when they are under pressure also.
But I don't think they'll be winning 7 back-to-back matches and qualifying for the semi-final.
This Australian team doesn't
seems
look like
unlikely,
Yep, I do agree because
But there is a matter of concern. I think there's a cause of concern for Australia over here. I was just going through that South Africa series as well. I think the last 3 matches that they played over there and lost, 380 is what they conceded once, 315 on another occasion, 311 on another.
400.
400 as well, yeah, sorry. So there were so in the last 3 matches, the least that they conceded was 311.
315, yeah.
Three
Johannesburg.
311 wasn't it?
315. 311 was today.
311 was today. So if you look at all these numbers, you put together all these numbers, it tells you a lot about their bowling as well. Flat tracks, does it mean that India, by the way, also restricted them the other day, right? Look at South Africa. Did they not restrict Australia on the same track where they scored 311? What is with Australia conceding in excess of 300 every time the track tends to be flat?
So there is one more
There
trend
is-
here.
That raises questions about their bowling.
I think there is a selection conundrum. They are picking only the fast bowlers. They are not paying much of the heap on those spinners. There is some fault at the selection only. You are saying we'll not rotate bowlers. You have lost the first game. You have now lost the second game, and still, I am hoping in the next game also you will not rotate your bowlers. Then what will help you? Maxwell performing, Maxwell giving you wickets is not something that will happen in every match.
You can't bank on that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now again,
They
see,
don't have any other spinner in the squad.
You
They
look,
can play Sangha, I think.
Sangha
but
is
you need
in
an
the
ICC technical
travelling
committee
list.
approval.
Someone
One
needs
player
to
has
get
get
ruled
injured.
out for that.
But again, see, you pointed out one thing. Okay, that shows all 3
for
facets of Australia's play is gone. Your bowlers are conceding 300 plus. Your fielding has let you down. 6 catches, 7 catches been dropped in 2 games already, and your batters haven't crossed 200 even once in these 2 games. So when everything comes collapsing, everything falls apart for Australia, and it's happened to them at the worst possible time. And this can also mean maybe excess cricket. 5 ODIs and 3 in India, 8 ODIs, the most that you have played along with India, but India is used to playing so much of cricket. Now you've lost 4 consecutive World Cup matches. You lost your last league game. You lost 2 in the semis in 2019. 2 more. Now, that is why I'm saying their confidence has taken a beating and I don't see it improving. Sri Lanka, they may just about scrape through, okay? Because Sri Lanka's bowling anyway doesn't inspire that much of confidence. But against Pakistan,
What about Pakistan?
if God forbid,
It's going to be a
if
very
they win
important
against
match for them.
India, they will be up at next gear, Pakistan. And remember, whoever wins among the Sena countries, okay?
Yeah.
Now New Zealand beat England, they are in pole position. South Africa has thrashed Australia. If either of New Zealand or England can beat Australia, they are also in contention for a semi-final.
True.
And one of our family members stated, please remember my name. Sahil, we will remember your name.
Salvi.
After today, more we'll definitely
We will remember
your
him
name.
because his 4 semi-finalists are India, Pakistan, England, South Africa. And he's predicted the order also. 1 India, 2 England, 3 Pakistan, 4 South Africa. That is the way how it is going. And looking at it, see, South Africa have now got some tough games coming up now. But again, South Africa and New Zealand start a tournament well, but then they end badly.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. That is Babuma concerned as of now?
I don't think he has any reason to be concerned as of now. They've topped the table. They had a positive 2
In terms of
net run rate. So I don't think
batsman, in terms of his batting.
So far, if the team is winning, there seems to be no worry. But if his team is losing,
Don't you think as a captain you need to lead? Like I do get that into 2011 it was the same case with MS Dhoni, but as he used to bat in the middle order. He was more of that leader sort of an image in the team by that point. Do you think it's the same case with Babuma, and is this going to be a problem for South Africa as they go in the business end of the tournament?
it was a problem in the T20I format. Because see, Bahuma today 35 or 55, 2 top chances by the way of him. Yet he
that
couldn't
innings
capitalize.
also. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm asking this question.
But I think he can make it up in the ODI format. Remember, he just scored a century.
Exactly, I was going to that only. The fact that he got some runs in recent past. Also, right now, I think the team are rallying behind him. Given the body language, given the things that you hear about, the others around him speak of him, and the body language. Like today, I think there's this time that I could see Markram walk up to him, really, give him the little shake, give him a little, try to stir him up. And there was like in a team huddle of sorts while they were celebrating a wicket, because it sort of meant, I think it was after he took that first catch that Babuma took
Of Marsh.
So yeah, I think it meant a lot. They know that the skipper's not been scoring a lot of runs, but I think given the momentum and the fact that South Africa now have not one but 2 humongous wins. And you got to give captain the credit for that. So Babuma will get that credit for taking South Africa or giving South Africa these big wins as a captain. Yes, of course, he may not have the kind of contribution that he would have wanted to have, but I still don't think there's going to be any panic buttons. As long as the team does well, you're not worried.
Yeah, not as of now, but moving ahead in the tournament.
Again, we don't know what will happen moving ahead. See, as I said, South Africa start well, but then they end badly. Look at the 2022 World T20.
Yeah.
They just needed to win against Netherlands. But no, they lost to Netherlands. India, Pakistan, please come on a platter. 2021, they just had 1 loss. Just 1 loss. But then they still couldn't make it. 19 was anyway a shambles because of the entire ABD fiasco.
Yeah.
Last moment, whether they'll play.
He wanted to play, but you're not, letting him play and all that.
That was bad. 15 heartbreak. So what can you do about it? And South Africa anyway were the better team, by the way. They were the better team and they'll face tougher challenges now. Because see, their game on November 5, I think that will determine where South Africa progress.
They're playing
November 5, India in Kolkata on Virat Kohli's birthday.
South Africa.
That will set the tone.
Wicket
for them.
like the Eden Gardens also.
And remember, South Africa and pace, Eden Gardens is pacey.
Yeah.
So that is why there is less of problems in the South Africa lineup because they look settled. Your batting is settled, your bowling is settled, fielding is good.
Yeah.
Now, imagine if you don't pick Tabraiz Shamsi, who's your next backup? Gerald Gutsy. Man, can he crank it up to 145? That is why Australia have got so many problems. Their batting's not clicking. As you said, the bowlers, Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins. When did we ever say that for 6 to 7 consecutive games, 250 plus they are conceding? And that too, if they concede 250, 277 they conceded in Mohali. But look at it, 380, 400, 315, 311. That is a big problem.
They will have to. I think they will have to think about the combination. And Captain Cummins had to rotate their bowlers because
He needs to step up now as a captain.
These are two contrasting images. As you said, and I agree with both of them. Captain Bavuma, he has nothing to worry about as of now.
Yes.
De Kock performing, the top order, they are scoring runs, they are winning games comfortably. So if even my batting is not, I'm not performing well with the bat, but my team is winning. On the contrary, Captain Cummins, being a fast bowler himself, his fellow bowlers are not performing, and their batters are not performing. They haven't crossed the 200 run mark. They are not picking up wickets. So I think giving these kind of statements, will not rotate bowlers, will play all games. I think it's for no good.
Can you look at the comments, Shivam? I think they both must have spoken. Bavuma and Bavuma and Cummins. They would have definitely given some statement. And the man of the match is QDK without doubt. Pat Cummins.
Bavuma said that he is happy to lose the toss, and the score was very good.
I thought Quinton batted really well, couldn't get a breakthrough. From where they were, we were quite happy with 310, thought it was chaseable. Looked like hard work out there, their bowlers bowled really well. I think he nipped around a bit more under lights. He said, the question was on it, would have been easier to bat first? He said, really hard to say. If we want to be challenging in this tournament, we need to find ways of performing regardless of batting first or second. That shows he just doesn't have confidence in his batting lineup. That is the situation that is at Cummins. He has no confidence. Don't think much needs to be said tonight. Everyone's hurting. Obviously, for the first time in 31 years, you've lost.
Heaviest defeat.
And you lost two consecutive games. First 2 games you lost. And you've never recovered after that point. And Temba is very, very chill about it. He says Quinton needs to be given the credit for the way he played. I think I'd be really greedy if I said that there are things we can improve. It was almost the perfect game. Now, if they maintain that consistency.
Now they've gone top of the table?
They are on top of the table now.
2 net run rate, by the way.
Exactly.
2 big wins.
And Australia are 9th. Yes, you read that right. Australia, 5-time champions, are 9th.
2 games into the World Cup, Australia, 9th position. They find themselves. So look at the teams giving them company right now. They have Netherlands. They have Afghanistan below. The sandwich between Afghanistan and Netherlands. Right above them, Sri Lanka. So that's the kind of company that they're enjoying right now. Rare sight. Of course, you expect that to change as the tournament progresses. But 2 games into the tournament, a negative 1.846 net run rate for the 5-time champions.
Oof, never thought I'd see that. But it has happened.
And Nikhil seems speechless.
I want to ask you guys, how many of you have written the obituary for the Australian team?
I haven't.
Not yet.
No one has yet. I'm just saying that.
I saw social media on my drive here, checking it out.
Their campaign is on the edge. But that doesn't mean that they have been ruled out.
No, I don't think so.
They're out?
See, I tell you, I have only one way of explaining this. For everyone who's writing the obituary and saying that they're done and dusted, I'm saying just put India in their place. Had this been Indian team, so for example, India got Australia first up.
Yeah.
Assuming India got South Africa second. Okay, assuming that, and India lost both those games, would you say done? No, right?
No.
Because if India's schedule was like that, you would have prepared yourself knowing fully well that you can lose to Australia, you can lose to South Africa, and yet make it. It's just that unfortunately you would have got Australia and South Africa first up. And by the way, I'm just extrapolating that to the Indian team. I think back of my head, even though we had all said India is the favourite, back of my head I also thought of, what if they lost, forget the Afghanistan game in the middle, what if they had lost to Australia? It wouldn't have been a surprise. What if they had lost to Pakistan? It would have been a kind of a surprise, but you couldn't have said no, it was a done and dusted game, right? It was a close contest. You could. So assuming India would have lost those 2 games, despite the victory versus Afghanistan, I know that the Knights would have been out, we would have been critical of the Indian team, but none of us would have said it's done, the campaign is done, we would have looked forward to what's going to come up. So I think same way with Australia, they've got 2 of the toughest games up front. The only thing I will criticize them for are the 2 margins of defeat, which means that they are at that net 100, but it's a long tournament.
Yes.
You're playing 9 games, so 7 games still to come, you can easily change that. The only other thing I will criticize them for is not knowing how to read pitches, how to read conditions. They made a faux pas against India. They made a similar faux pas versus South Africa. And I will, take back my words. Two things that I personally thought, and it's never, it doesn't make you a smaller person by accepting those two things. One, I'd said before the start of the tournament that Australia is cut above the rest. They're like clearly the favorite compared to every other every other team in the tournament. That doesn't hold true. Even though I'm not writing them off, they could still make it. But I don't think they are a cut above the rest of the teams in the tournament. That's one. And secondly, today also, I was very critical of Temba Bavuma when he was batting.
Yeah.
Thought that what the hell was he? But hindsight. But okay, to be fair, you remember when that batting was happening towards the second half, and I was speaking to someone, and I said, no, it's not that easy a pitch to bat on. So now looking at the total that they made, seems to be a good total, and that's when I started thinking that no, maybe Australia might lose. But at the start, where Temba was just like even slow cutters from Cummins, which were landing in the slot, which he could have hammered, he wasn't doing it.
He wasn't doing it.
So pretty
Plus, he got 2 dropped chances also. He never capitalized on that also. No, and we were just pointing out prior when
that
you came.
drop time, that one on the boundary was very tough.
Stuff.
Like they were doing a
But
relay catch.
English
Was like English.
He became English. He became English in that sense. I was just saying
I have
that.
a meeting also to attend, but keep carrying on.
Yeah, we are also saying that every aspect of Australia has also fallen apart. I mean, Harshit pointed out that in 6-7 ODIs they have conceded in excess of 350, 400 very consistently. And then the fielding, 6 catches. Oof.
Yeah, that's very unlike Australia, when you give examples of Australian teams in early 2000s and late 2000s, that fielding expect in Australia.
They were the ones who
all
set the
together.
bar.
All together in the World Cups to come. Now looking at this Australia, they have, a talented 11, I'll say. They can bat, Stark, Cummins, everyone can bat. And that team not crossing 200 run mark, or maybe, I don't think Australia was never ever under pressure.
Yeah.
These Australia used to bounce back from very precarious situations in the past, but now they are. I think captain. When you win, you give credit to captain, but when you lose, I think Cummins. There are questions on his captaincy.
Definitely.
Yes.
Decisions, whether it's playing 11, whether it's winning the toss and doing what electing to bat or bowl, and just as Nikhil bhai said, I think they are not being able to read that conditions properly
right now. Yeah.
The same criticism I'll take on from Saranch's point. The same criticism was there even the BGT. When Australia lost 2 games heavily, he was the captain. Pat Cummins.
Yeah.
How did they recover?
Steve Smith was the captain and all.
By understanding Australia's strength. Okay, it's a minefield. We will not bat first like how we did in Nagpur or in Delhi. We'll bowl. And they exploited that strength and ensured they came back in the series.
Just wondering, Siddharth, you talk about team cultures, you talk about team traditions, you talk about, let's say, the ethos of the teams many a times, certain attributes that teams have. This Australian side, as far as cricket goes, we know has that reputation of being that brash, aggressive, bring it on kind of side. Right now, that aggression is not there. They're led by a captain, and I don't want to take anything away from Pat Cummins. He just won you the World Test Championship as well. Under that same leadership, you went to
drew the Ashes.
All of that said and done. But I just want to be knowing from you and my fellow friends here as well, that is it perhaps because that aggression is missing in this Aussie side, because it is just so natural to them that it's almost second nature for an Aussie side to be aggressive. The fact that it's missing right now, is that what they are missing at the moment?
See, I'll tell you why. It's fitting that you're raising this topic up, because look at the opponent who we are playing against, okay? 5 years ago, you saw the fallout of Sandpaper Gate. Okay.
2018.
There were, even Steve Smith described, there was this cancerous atmosphere that you have to win at all costs. Remember, that is why Australia sometimes, they would say no, they would touch the line when it came to aggression and sledging. That went totally haywire. It started with Warner and de Kock in Durban. Went to the next level in Port Elizabeth when Rabada and Smith had that clash, by which Rabada was banned for 4 games, but it got overturned. Then it all fell apart in Sandpaper Gate. And after that, there was a cultural realignment in Australia. You can win, but don't win at all costs. And what happened? 18-19, they didn't win anything.
I think they're stuck between, being that old Australia and being the nice guys.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
call Australia the nice
Perhaps.
guys.
Yeah.
They're stuck. They wanted to be too aggressive at times. They wanted to be the nice guys on the field, but both cannot. You cannot sail on two ships.
Yeah.
I have listened to many of the former Australian cricketers who are questioning that is this a real Australian team?
Yeah.
But being too friendly on the field with the opposition. Just as I'll quote Gautam Gambhir. Gautam Gambhir says ki whenever I'm on the field, I'm against the opponent, I'll give my all to win. I want to win. This Australian team used to give it all in 2003, 7, 11, all the consequent World Cups. But now looking at them, I'm not criticizing them just for being too nice, but there is a legacy.
Yeah, you're carrying.
You're carrying. The Australians, half of the team are under pressure, even if listening to the Australian name that we are playing next against Australia. Now, these are just nice guys talking to. On the field, you are, I think, somewhere forgetting that you need to win this game as well.
Yeah. I mean, they are trying too hard to please. That's the thing.
I think I completely
That's
agree
this
with that.
Australian team. I mean, see, it reached a crescendo until Tim Payne. That broke away in Sydney when they were trying to sledge India, but it backfired in
Yeah.
Sydney. Okay. Brisbane, they were deflated, so that's why they lost. Now under Cummins is a nice man. I mean, he's won you series in Pakistan. He's won you the World Test Championship.
Wasn't he the captain when they won 6 months back over here?
In India?
The ODI series.
No. He wasn't the captain. Cummins, did he play in that series? That we have to check because
Stark was playing, I remember.
Stark was playing,
Zampa
Hazelwood was there, Zampa,
Yeah.
Agar were playing, Smith and Warner were there. So that's why, see, this Australian team is facing an identity crisis ever since 2018.
I think he was playing.
Yeah, he
I
was.
think-
I think
I think
I
he's
also
playing.
think Cummins
Yeah.
is
I
playing.
think he was playing.
You are faced with an identity crisis at this point in
Yeah.
time when it comes to Australia. So it's fitting that South Africa have exposed that, and they were always that team. Remember, we called that the greatest rivalry in the 2000s. One team that could challenge Australia, it was always South Africa.
South Africa also reminded everyone why they are perhaps the only team that have a superior ODI record, head-to-head record against
Now it's been
Australia.
exposed.
Australia.
Now Australia are down, South Africa are ensuring we are going to keep the
Even
choke.
but now the head-to-head becomes equal, 3-3.
Yeah, in World Cups it becomes
Yeah.
3-3, but overall it's 55-50.
Yes, overall yes, but head-to-head is now even.
It's
World Cup.
even, yes.
World Cup
That
head-to-head is now
Australia sets the world's highest record of 434 in a game. South Africa, few hours ahead, they break the same record, the same match.
Yeah.
That's the South Africa for you. And I think, as Siddharth said, being a Captain Cummins, Captain Smith, two different individuals leading same team. So I think, it's not bad to be a nice guy, but when you're leading a team, you have to think from the perspective, you need to win. If you're not winning and you are being a nice guy, Black Caps they are nice guys. If they win, they lose, they are the nice guys.
Yeah.
They are,
That's their ethos.
Yeah.
But
That's
what
what
I
they go
feel is
by.
that sorry.
But me, being an Indian cricket fan, we lost this final against this Australia 2003 World Cup final. We lost against Australia. Ever since we hated this Australian team. Now the same Australian team is just being nice to us and everyone around. So it's very difficult for us to digest. Is this the same Australian team?
Yeah, that's the problem. And look, there is also now you're seeing, Harshit, a side problem of having a bowler as a captain. Cummins is the only bowler who is a captain across formats. Why do you think they don't persist with bowlers as captain?
Because I feel that
Takes a toll.
Yeah, exactly. When you're bowling, you have your mind on your bowling, and by at that time also captaining.
I mean, look at who's the captain of all the teams. Rohit, batter.
Rohit,
Babar, batter.
Williamson,
Butler, wicket keeper, batter. Williamson, as a batter.
Temba,
batter. Netherlands also, if you look at it.
Scott Edwards.
He's a batter.
Shakib, batting all arounder.
Batting-
He
Shakib is an exception to the
bowling all
law.
arounder. Yeah.
Yeah.
But pure bowler.
Shakib, by the way, is an exception in so many ways.
Yes.
So,
But a
many
pure
ways.
bowler. I mean, that's why you may not want to see
Hashmatullah Shahidi, Afghanistan, he's
batter.
so I think you are right.
There is a reason why batters always are better captains, and keeper batters also are better captains because they understand
Yeah.
every aspect.
You can
Keeper
A
batters, I
bowler,
agree.
bowler
That's
can't
what
understand a batting this thing or a fielding this thing. A bowler will understand only very minimalistic things of that. That is why I think somewhere down the line, if you get Steve Smith as the captain, forget the ego, yaar, Cricket Australia, forget the ego that you've been carrying on. you are potentially having a member who's never been the captain, who could have been the greatest, and David Warner. But no, Cricket Australia want to hold on to that ego that, okay, ball tampering was bad. We have to hold on to the ego. No, it's a culture.
But I think they want to set an example, you know. We don't want you to be a captain. You might be the greatest.
Larger picture.
Yeah, you might be the greatest batsman of the generation, but you cannot lead now Australia
I
because.
will make this comparison, let's say, with football also. Luis Suarez has the most glorious numbers you could look at, even not just when he was in the Premier League, but even when he was in the La Liga. Even when he went to La Liga. But did that mean that was he getting nominated for the Ballon d'Or? Was he getting all the big awards?
Nah.
He wasn't. Because his acts on the pitch, besides goal scoring, were deemed disgraceful.
Patrice Evra would
Be it Patrice Evra, be it what he did to Chiellini, exactly. All that put together, you know, racist slur here and there and whatnot. Everything put together, biting. So again, at times, you know, you want to set an example. He had, by the way, if he was wearing some of the stripes or if he were not to have that kind of a demeanor on the pitch, he definitely would have gotten far more respect against his name than he had at the moment.
True. Same example across games. There's someone, Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic. You know, 20 for Federer, 20, 24, 20 for.
But Federer will have more adulation.
Yeah, because Federer never indulged in any kind of,
least controversial.
Yeah, but Djokovic, his celebrations, his reactions to the losses, breaking rackets and everything.
Plus COVID misdemeanors, what he did. That really sullied his reputation, and it will sully his reputation.
You will, and you might end up winning most number of Grand Slams, but the way Roger Federer will be looked at 10 years or 20 years down the line from now, it's totally entirely different.
He set the gold standard, Federer, and because of his off-field demeanor that he had, there were hardly any controversies. That's why Federer will forever be here.
The true ambassador of the game, the way you have carried the game off the field.
Yep.
It matters.
Millions of people have fallen in love with the tennis because they have seen Federer play.
Exactly. So let's take some super chats. Lots of super chats.
Lots of them.
You had Australia in first place of your top 4 list.
Of course.
I still do.
Yeah. See, it's just 2 games.
Yeah.
But their campaign is on the edge, and history shown teams that have lost the first 2 games.
You cannot rule out a team like Australia.
We won't rule out.
I think it's safe to say, and when I say this, I say in the behalf of the team, we are not ruling Australia out. We are just shocked to see him at this position.
Yeah, for me.
But a simple question: is Australia still in your top 4 after these 2 games, considering everything?
I'll keep it.
Yeah, I'm keeping them as well.
Are you keeping them?
I'm keeping them in the top 4.
I'm still keeping them.
Prithvi Patnaik, Mr. Baban is saying, Sir, I don't think Ind versus Pak match will be a display of quality cricket. It's just media hype of the biggest match of the tournament. Okay, I think he saw my video.
We say the biggest match will be India-New Zealand.
I think India-South Africa.
No, I think your potential final preview, India-England.
India-England, India-New Zealand. Both will be very, very good games, guys.
I believe India will lose because the pitch will suit their pace and the balance is better than us. India, come on. I think you have to give them the edge every single time. Prithvi Patnaik again sums up. The best team at this stage are New Zealand, South Africa, India.
Yeah.
New Zealand is above SA because their spin department is better than SA. I'm not counting Pak because they have not faced any top team. 50-50 on that, Prithvi. But see, don't be fooled. NZSA start well, but they end badly.
History is evidence.
Yeah.
Every time it's evident. And see, Australia, I'm looking at it, I had this feeling in 92 also. They lost 2 games by a big margin and they never recovered.
And maybe a week ahead we'll be same sitting here talking about Australia, how they bounced back, how they done this and that. So we are not still ruling them out, but it's the nature of the game.
Manchester Rising from the US is saying, I think aggression is overhyped. At the end of the day, Oz won World Cups because they have splendid openers, middle orders and great bowlers. All teams have 11. I think Manchester Rising, forget the aggression. I think what Harshit pointed out, bowlers losing the plot, batters, top order not performing, fielders dropping catches. That's the prime element.
That tells me, Australia floundering in the field tells me they're not in the right space right now. Forget the batting and the bowling, but no Australian side can pick up let's say the cricket book and say that this is an indicator for me as that they are a team in crisis at the moment. Still, I will not write them off because of that rich culture, because of that rich legacy, and the potential that these 11 or 15 people also have, which is why I will continue to keep them. But the fact that not in one but in 2 matches, this fielding has let the Aussies down.
And
That is
remember,
something that is non-negotiable.
Australia may have
Batting
dropped.
bowling is still negotiable.
Australia dropped
Fielding is
only 1 catch against India.
But you dropped the match.
But you
Yeah,
dropped.
yeah.
That catch would
Virat
have changed
Kohli.
everything
Exactly.
for them. Maybe today we would have been talking about something else in relation
Yes.
to Australia if that catch was
If
taken.
Australia don't make it to the World Cup
yeah,
semi-final,
that catch is going to be the
That catch.
reason, for sure.
it set the base.
Moment of
Yeah,
for sure.
Pawan Venkat, please introduce the new joinee. He is Shashwat Balla, local Delhi boy, forever Delhi in his heart. Are you Delhi Capitals fan also?
Yeah, very big.
Oh no!
Delhi
Then-
boys.
Okay, so in IPL, what we'll do, Harshit and Shashwat, you both will be side by side. Tragics both together. So that's okay. So he is Shashwat. So he's not a new joinee as such. He's made his debut just a couple of days back. So GGK said, captaincy matters in a World Cup. Obviously it matters. Cummins and Shanaka crumble under pressure. Yes, they do. Thank God we have best captain ever, Rohit. Best captain ever, Rohit. Hey, yaar, what about Virat?
I have
Yaar,
my
MS.
reservations, yeah. Dada.
Come on, yaar. ऐसे नहीं बोलते for Rohit. Okay, rookie techie. Pakistan played just 2 semis in ODI World Cup since 1992. Don't speak too early. We are not. It's just 2 games. Oz yet to play Netherlands, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka on flat grounds. Fine. But to counter that, they are playing also Pakistan, England and New Zealand. Oz will come back if they thrash weak teams. But those 4 weak teams, maybe. But what about the other 3? England have got the wood over you. New Zealand 50-50. They can do that. But
I'll to all of you watching us right now, my only suggestion would be, or my only advice would be, don't rule out Australia here.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
make
Not
that
at
mistake.
all.
exactly. What
The
about
only 2 things going against them is firstly the net run rate that has genuinely taken a very big hit in the last 2 games. Secondly, the spinners problem because the wickets are going to assist more of spin as we
which is
go
why
deep
I
down in the
see
tournament. Just these 2
Australia's
things.
comeback is slightly difficult
Yeah.
because their spin bowling is not inspiring any kind of confidence from me. And a football fan would know. Sachin Kashyap's asking. Antoine Griezmann,
Was hated by Barca fans.
Barca
but did
fans,
well for
is
France.
it? Why?
Well, I didn't make the comment. What is it? Who's it?
Antoine and Sachin Kashyap was saying
Griezmann,
Antoine
But
Griezmann
did not-
hated
did
by
well
Barca
France.
fans but did
He was
well for
hated by
France.
Barca fans. But
Was he?
Yeah, see, he never fit into the Barca system.
Never.
Oh.
He never fit into the Barca system. Again, coming from Atletico Madrid.
Oh yes.
Good player. Again, you come from a rival club. That's number 1. Even after that, okay, after all the initiation and all happened, even after that, he wasn't. Again, I think his position was also to do with the fact that the position that he was made to play at Barca didn't suit him to begin with. Always found it difficult to accustom. But again, was scoring penalties, was scoring winners for you. Let's not forget in the 2020 World Cup, 2018 World Cup. So yeah.
I mean, he scored those penalties against Argentina
Croatia.
and Croatia
Yeah.
that helped them win. So, yeah. So, Quinton de Kock was like just one comment which Shivam's highlighted. He's saying that I have played here for the Lucknow team. It becomes harder to bat second.
Now, by the way, it was the same Quinton de Kock who until yesterday had no idea about
Exactly.
It's very easy to make statements when you are in the
That too after scoring a century.
This is called rubbing it in.
riding high on confidence.
I know.
Let me make a statement.
Yeah,
that
Quinton,
I have
please.
played here before. I know the pitch and
Nobody had any idea about what this pitch was about. Suddenly he comes up and says, "Oh, I knew this was."
We didn't know
This
about
is
the
called
pitch
rubbing it in
anyway.
your opponent's face. This is called in that sense.
but riding high on confidence. Like I can make any sort of statements and then
Yeah.
This is just benefit of hindsight, Quinton.
I
de
know.
Kock.
Mr. Hindsight. I'll call him that only. Mr. Hindsight. QDK. Oof.
QDK.
So today,
But
I
he's
mean,
genuinely gotten his team to a very good start. 2 games, his starts
200s.
have really.
and
meant
imagine
a
this
lot
is
to the
final
South
ODIs
African
that
side.
he's playing.
Yeah.
What a way to
Yeah.
end it if that happens.
If that happens. yeah.
But again, we thought this would have been a close game. Hardly. It was a very, I mean, it may say a one-sided affair and very limp and weak display from Australia.
Tomorrow,
Very limp.
New Zealand is playing
Bangladesh.
At Chepauk, and that might be a tricky encounter, but that's just a sideshow. That's just a very small preview to the mega clash we are going to have.
Exactly.
India
It's
versus
nicely
Pakistan.
poised. India and Pakistan is very nice because both the teams were down in the matches. They have won and they have made a comeback and went on to win those games. So both the teams are very high on confidence.
But I think
It's 8-0,
It
yeah.
will be easy.
Yeah,
for
it
India
will
to
be
win. I
easy,
think
but-
in this format, ODI versus Pakistan, I was seeing their match yesterday.
Check the video. The last 5 matches that you see is so lopsided.
Sydney sir
yeah.
has done a full video on that.
I know.
It's not
And
that
also look at your World Cup stats also. India has almost double the tally of 50s and 100s that Pakistan has. That's one factor. Look at the economy rates. Pakistan's bowlers average economy rate is 5. India's is 4.5. Now you want any reason why it was 7-0. What is the closest victory margin we have had? 29 runs. If you look at it, that's big, great. But otherwise, 76 runs, 89 runs. Very lopsided. It isn't a rivalry. It's a rivalry heavily favored towards India. For obvious reasons, you can check that video out. And remember, certain streaks never end.
Super chat.
29 was what? 90.
2011, Mali.
Ah.
Semi-final. 260 you had to chase, 231 Pakistan got all out. 43 runs in
Sachin again highest scorer.
85.
85. Everyone was waiting for that 100th that day, I remember. I think just 13 or 14 at that
Don't
time.
remind me.
Yeah.
Sachin's 100, the
It
360.
was available for one full year. Yeah. One full year.
And
4 ball
and
as well, hitting plum.
369 days of pain
Yeah,
from
one
that
full year
99
you had
to
to wait
100.
for. One full
We
year.
just had a special site ready. We just had to click live. For that live click, it took us 369 days. Every single time we thought, okay, Sydney, he's getting to 80. Let's be ready. Got out to Michael Clark. Oval 91 was the worst.
Being a Sachin fan myself, I think it's very difficult to be a Sachin fan back those days. Whenever he comes out to bat, he's cross 60s, 70s. I think he has got out in nervous contests 28 times, 28, 29 times.
18 times in the 90s, 7 times on 99.
It was very tough to be a Sachin fan,
Sachin Tendulkar not only shattered the books or shattered records, let's say.
He gave us all blood pressures.
Forget all of that. He taught us a lot about human anatomy also with all those injuries, by the way.
Oh, yes.
But what he also did was coin this new phrase in cricketing parlance. Nervous 90s.
Nervous 90s, Hosh.
No, that term didn't exist before
See,
that.
you know what was our ideal scenario, okay? He got the 99th 100 in Nagpur. Okay, India versus Pakistan semi-final. Ideal way to get
100, get it.
Didn't get. Okay, no problem. 100th 100 in the final. Wow, that will be the epic. Didn't happen. We thought Melbourne, no. Lords, no. Oval, oh please, let it just slide down no, it didn't happen.
Mirpur?
But unfortunately, India lost that game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, his 100th should have been a cause for celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that record will ever be broken. Even I think if Virat Kohli has a good 2-3 years, I don't think no one's breaking that record. Too difficult.
Hundreds.
Nah.
No, I don't think.
See,
100 is very
you're getting to 49 in almost no time. It can happen in this.
See, the overall century tally might happen. Overall 100s, I don't think. Because he's not going to play T20Is that much. ODIs also is very little.
77?
77.
Right now, 23
47
centuries, I
ODIs.
don't think. There are a lot of players,
Four
whole careers,
Yeah.
around 18, 17,
Yeah.
18 centuries.
Lots of them.
23 centuries.
Most
I
of
don't
them,
think.
in fact.
4, if you extend it by even 4 or 5
years.
years, still,
I
per
can't.
year 5 centuries, very difficult. And
But who knows? See, you're getting 5 tests right up after the World Cup gets over.
you're getting
cannot
7
have-
tests.
You're playing 2 against South Africa as well, so make that 7. You'll play a couple, I think, against Afghanistan also. They're also coming here.
But will Virat play at that time? He doesn't play against the
8 test matches. Are you expecting 6, 7 centuries?
No, you're not.
4 only? It's about 23 centuries to reach that line.
I'm telling you now, if Virat had not had that slump for 3 years now, I had calculated based on his 15 to 17 period, he would have hit 65 ODI centuries and 35 test centuries. 110, he would have made it.
He was
That 3 years.
Yeah,
He was
That
human.
3-year slump, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
But even Virat had that.
yeah. Sharan Vinagota, final super chat, but Australia blunder with toss and understanding of conditions after so much IPL and Indian tours. Unforgivable indeed.
But
They look very lost at this point. I don't know why.
I agree. I
Trying to
really
figure out those combinations,
Yeah.
and I think they're lost somewhere, distracted.
totally.
somewhere.
Or fatigue maybe because of like you were mentioning at the start of the
I
day.
don't
Yeah,
think
it's World
fatigue
Cup,
is-
yeah.
I don't.
All
think.
that excuse is gone.
Huh.
they may be fatigued, but they can't use that as an excuse
Yeah, you
for
cannot
poor
absolutely
judgment.
And not in the
do
World
that.
Cup.
Not in the World
Not
Cup.
at all.
This is what you prepared for.
Yeah.
You wanted it.
That
you
is
got
why
it.
you played so much cricket.
Exactly. Oof. So that's about it for this Australia-South Africa game. Tomorrow it's New Zealand-Bangladesh, but our attention will be on that match, but also for the greatest big day.
All we waiting for.
India Today team, India Today AajTak team. Most of them have
Everyone.
reached in Ahmedabad, The others
Others
will
will-
get to Ahmedabad. You're going to get so many exclusive ground reports and inside scoops. Just brace up. Just
Yes.
brace up for
We are
all
just
that
starting.
awaits as we build up to the marquee clash between India and Pakistan. Siddharth disagrees that it's not a rivalry anymore, is what he says. But he's got his own reasons to feel that way. Check out the video that he's done. In fact, it's up on Sports Today. Why Siddharth feels that. Sorry?
They'll be joining us live.
course,
Yes.
Full panel full of
You
world
will have
champions.
Suresh Raina, you will have
Robbie.
Sunil Gavaskar,
Never-ending
you will
list.
have
Robin
Robin
Uthappa.
Uthappa,
Madan
all-
Lal,
Madan
everyone.
Lal.
Bajji.
Bajjupa may not be there.
Yeah.
May not be there. He's busy at the moment. But again, we got all the top voices joining us here on the India Today group. Do like, share, and subscribe to Sports Today in case you haven't already done so. Tap that bell so that you know when we go live. From all of us here in the Sports Today studio. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night. Nandri.